So we got a move in the association. The Bucks are sending center John Henson and backup point guard Matthew Dellavedova, as well as some picks to the Cleveland Cavaliers for George Hill. Sam Dekker found his way into this move somehow. He's going to be heading to the Wizards. That's the best Photoshop I could do. And Jason Smith is still in the NBA apparently. So, we're going to talk about the Bucks throughout the majority of this thing. The biggest thing this does is save them a whole lot of money, because you have John Henson and Dellavedova's contracts, which were going to hold them up past this season, and because George Hill's contract is non-guaranteed next year, they could release him, and they probably will, and then they will be saving about $18 million, I believe it is, and given that the salary cap is also going up to $109 million, that's pretty cool. Now, does it suck that you have to give up some draft picks in order to get rid of these two dudes? Yeah, but it was kind of necessary, because the Bucks have some guys they need to re-sign. One of them is Chris Middleton, and I don't know if Middleton is going to get a max contract. I mean, who really knows at the NBA nowadays? There's a bunch of dudes who are overpaid, of course. Those days may be behind us. They might not be. But it's, of course, going to take quite a bit of money to re-sign Middleton, and if you wanted to give him the money he deserves and you still had Dellavedova and Henson on your books, then you could have been looking at the luxury tax, and that's never fun. But there's, of course, other guys the Bucks have to consider re-signing. One of them's Brook Lopez, who has been huge for them this season, as his three-point shot has been a big source of spacing, and it has allowed the Bucks to shoot 1,000,000 three-pointers. It gives Giannis a runway to the rim, as well as Middleton and Bledsoe and Brogdon and all these guys. But Lopez has also been pretty decent offensively from kind of anywhere, even if they're not asking him to do a whole lot of stuff besides just stand on the three-point line. He'll probably cost you about $7 to $10 million, I would guess. Then you have Eric Bledsoe, also going to be a free agent. I believe he's making about $15 million a year right now. I don't know if he's going to get more or less. I have to guess the Bucks would want to pay him less than that. But of course, he and his agent will have something to say. But there's definitely a reason to bring the dude back. Then you also have Malcolm Brogdon, who may be better than Eric Bledsoe. I think that's something the Bucks are very interested in finding out. And if they were comfortable with just keeping Brogdon, then perhaps they would let Bledsoe go and save themselves even more money. But I don't know about that one. But regardless of what they end up doing, who's gone, who stays, the fact that they're saving all this money is definitely going to help them out. It'll just be an easier process, and that's good. And of course, that will help you in the future in building talent around Giannis, because the dude does not have just a super long contract moving forward. I mean, the Bucks' days, they're not like on a deadline here to be good as fast as possible to keep Giannis. But it's not like they've got all the time in the world either. I mean, his contract is up after 2021. And for what it's worth, I actually think George Hill could help them out a bit, at least for this season. Maybe they would bring him back after declining his option next year. I don't even know if you can do that with the rules, but hey, you know, I'm going to spend the next 30 seconds talking about George Hill because I haven't done this in 2 years now. I think he's still pretty okay. Now, is he still the awesome two-way player that he was for the Pacers a couple years back? No, but hey, his percentages are very good. He can occasionally go off the dribble and make something happen. Maybe it's hit a floater, hit a pull-up jump shot, whatever it may be. He's comfortable playing off the ball, and I think his defense is still respectable enough. And I could see him being a nice, two-point guard thing with Brogdon off the bench. Now, what could be wild is if the Bucks are doing this to free up as much money as possible to make a home run swing for someone like Kemba Walker. That's very risky, and I would not do that if I was them. Now, if we go to the Cleveland Cavaliers, this move is good for them because they get some draft picks, because in case you didn't know, the Cavs suck, and they need as many picks as possible to give them as many chances to surround Colin Sexton with some real talent. The other thing it does is it does not bring back LeBron, but it does bring back his number 2 guy in Matthew Dellavedova, and, I mean, who's going to complain about that one, right? Finally, we move on to the Washington Wizards, who snaked into this move at the last second, it seems, and they scooped themselves up Sam Dekker, a guy whose minutes have been a little inconsistent lately, but I think he's shown some good signs in the NBA. He's a tall dude who can go off the dribble. I think he can be respectable on defense if he really locks in. and his three-pointer has had some moments in the league as well. So, a pretty good move for the Wizards. I believe they had to give up a second-round pick, but given the state of this team, it's whatever. And if we look at the way Kelly Oubre has been used for them, and the way that he's been successful for them when they've played him at the power forward position, I feel like you could put Sam Dekker in that spot, and there is a chance that Dekker is basically a better version of Oubre. And if that's the case, that could help you out. And I think it gives you a pretty decent wing rotation because you still got Otto Porter there, of course. Now, there's a bunch of rumors going on with this team, and who knows if Porter is going to be here by the end of the season. But, I mean, between Otto Porter, Sam Dekker, Kelly Oubre, that is a decent amount of wings who can make some shots, go off the dribble a little bit, play some not bad defense, I guess. It's a thing. But with all that said, the main thing here is still the Bucks, and the next 12 months for them are going to be really interesting.